Lyran. This is Astro Compass Oracle. I am going to do an astrology dive into the coronavirus situation. I might possibly pull some cards as well to do a little bit of a reading, but I'm going to talk about the astrology that is going on currently and what is to come. It might help provide a guide to make your decisions. So we're going to start right now talking about Capricorn energy. We have a stellium in Capricorn that's been building for months and months and months. And that energy is, Capricorn rules structures, patriarchy, it rules ambition, and the very real world infrastructure and pieces within the 3D world. And by the way, this right here is Bun Bear, Tallulah Bun Bear, and she is supervising the reading. So here's the deal. We do have a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction. Pluto rules pandemics and major life changes and death cycles. Well, Jupiter rules societal issues and has the quality of spreading, magnifying, and amplifying. So those two energies combined have the potential to create situations exactly like what we're looking at right here. And when they come together, they blow things all kinds of out of proportion, okay? So we have a Jupiter-Pluto conjunction every 20 years. And this, of course, doesn't mean we have a virus or a pandemic every 20 years. But because Jupiter and Pluto are part of that stellium, their impact is significantly amplified, okay? Also, the conjunction is in Capricorn. Capricorn is also associated with old age and, the second half of your life, effectively. And of course, that has a correlation particularly to this virus because our older population is much more vulnerable to it. Additionally, we have the nodes of the moon, which is connected to viruses also in astrology. And they are currently in a square to Chiron. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. A squared energy is conflict energy, okay? The nodes in Chiron square started to form early this year, and they will peak out mid-March. This is important. Chiron, although it is not directly connected to viruses, will increase the feelings of vulnerability and helplessness. That wounded healer energy can exacerbate fear and a sense of helplessness, which we know reduces immunity. So staying centered and balanced, practical, and grounded is very important in this energy, okay? The node square Chiron suggests that we are at a karmic crossroads. So while we are experiencing vulnerability and uncertainty, it is important that we embrace it rather than deny it, because we make decisions that are centered in practicality when we pay attention to the truth of vulnerability rather than machismo or attempting to deal with something through denialism because it's tough to deal with. That is going to backfire. So let's take a look at some of the transits here and the timeline. December 1st, Jupiter entered Capricorn. Then that was when the first known patient started experiencing symptoms. December 26th, South Node, we had a total solar eclipse conjunct Jupiter. The virus is identified as being related to a bat SARS-like coronavirus. January 9th, approximately, okay? Let me be very clear. While these energies are dated, the conjunctions happen at a certain time. the energies are very broad, and they come in and they flow out in a dynamic and fluid way. Your personal astrology has a significant impact on how the energy manifests in your life. So these are general guidelines, and the dates are important, but understand it goes both directions on either side of the date a bit, okay? Let's see. On January 9th, approximately, Saturn conjuncted Pluto, and the gene sequencing data of the virus was made public, and the virus was named. January 21st, onwards. Okay, so Mars enters Capricorn, joining the Capricorn stellium. The effect of cases increases exponentially. There are various outbreaks all over the world, Italy being the more severe affected. And remember, Italy has the second oldest population in the world. Okay, so they're going to be, and really anybody in those more senior years is going to feel the Capricornian energy. And then as a collective, Italy was hit hard. March 2020, Mars is going to be coming into the picture and applying some pressure in a conjunction with Jupiter and Pluto. Mars is explosive energy. It's ruled by Aries, who is the god of war. March is when this is, me saying this is not news. This is going to intensify, and it will intensify in March. On March 18th, there is a record of 6 planets in Capricorn, 5 of which are engaged in a very, very tight angle within 8 degrees of the zodiac. The Moon and Mars are at 21 degrees Capricorn. Capricorn and Pluto at 24 degrees, Capricorn and Saturn at 29 degrees. The period of time between March 18th and March 23rd, when Mars applies to a conjunction to Pluto, will be very problematic. All of these degrees and planetary energies are a little bit detailed, and I really didn't mean to go that far into it. But the overview based on the astrology here is that those dates, the 18th to the 23rd, we will probably witness what might be identified as a peak, okay? On March 21st, 2020, Saturn moves into Aquarius and will most likely come with some measures that will impact the freedom of movement of the people. Saturn is restriction. Aquarius is social collectives. So this is a period of time where we will very, very, very likely see quarantines happen throughout the United States. I saw a post on Facebook recently that was actually, it triggered me to do this reading after seeing so much either fear-mongering or denialism. These are the things that I'm seeing on a broad scale, very little middle-of-the-road balanced pragmatism. Neither one of those approaches works. Those of you walking around in denial that this is some flu, and just because you're 20, 30, or 40, an inhale and hardy condition is absolutely no excuse for you being irresponsible and not facing the reality that while you may not die from it, you could easily carry it to your friend or neighbor who you have no idea had a heart attack 9 years ago. And suddenly they're unable to fight a virus that you transmitted because you didn't take it seriously enough. And when I say take it seriously enough, I mean pay attention to your travel. Is it such a good idea for all of us to be running around business as usual, life going on? No, it is not. The virus has yet to be contained in any manner or form in the United States. All of us moving around and interacting with each other personally, well, on a spirit level, this is part of the human experience and it's needed. This is a temporary period of time where extraordinary intelligence needs to be applied to what you're doing and self-discipline. You may have family members and friends that are higher risk, and you might feel like you need to travel to them or, round the wagons and bring everybody together in, a large group or gathering with your family, your compound. You need to be conscious about doing that. You really need to think twice about that and decide, are you doing this because you are scared, or are you doing it because you're looking at this from the perspective of what's best for everybody, not just you? Okay? This is really important. Okay, so we're going to move on here. On April 1st, Mars will conjunct Saturn at 0 degree Aquarius. I'm mentioning the degrees again because 0 degree is an extremely potent energy. This is a very important date in the evolution of the virus, since 0 degrees is where the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction will occur in December 2020. So we'll have to see how that plays out. On April 4th, Jupiter conjuncts with Pluto. So here we have expansive energy hitting Pluto, which is plutonic energy that rules pandemics and viruses and all kinds of stuff. But what's relevant right now is that. A very important event connected to this virus will likely take place around this date. So make note of that, okay? On a more positive note, we know this is going to pass, okay? So this timeline is really just to help you quantify that. Starting April 1st, the Mars and Saturn planets move out of Capricorn and the tension will release. And we hope to see a decline in the virus as a concurrent event with that. However, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction is active all the way through November. So while there might be a flattening and maybe not such an acute and panic-driven type of energy, the influence of this is going to continue on a societal level through that time frame. When Saturn moves on to Aquarius for good in December, because it is doing this vacillating thing between Capricorn and Aquarius, we should see a significant change in the energy, okay? I'm not saying this virus is going to last a year. We have seen many qualified professionals talk about that this is going to have an impact that could peak in weeks, it could peak in months, or could affect the country for a year. And I think that's very real, okay? Additionally, Aquarius rules the internet, all networks, information over the airways, radios, all that good stuff. The stock exchange is also ruled by Aquarius. So because we have so much Aquarian energy being affected by these other planets, it's a very easy dovetail to understand the stock markets, even if you take away the reality of them being affected because of just everyday what's going on right now. On an astrological level, that is also supported. Or rather, I should say, society's just playing out the astrological energies, even if it's totally subconscious, and mostly it is. There is another conjunct with with Jupiter and Pluto. Actually, that's I'm just going to drop that. Here's the overall message here. Obviously, this virus is not a positive development in our society. But it is really important to understand that Jupiter, who is very involved in this entire situation, is underlyingly a beneficent planet. It's not trying to expand a virus, okay? And the energy of Jupiter will have some mitigating effects on the overall astrology here. So I guess the real message is about taking personal responsibility. We all need to take it on a personal level for what's going on in the world right now. So that's taking personal responsibility for a collective reality, and that's how you change it first. So if you've become complacent, if you have gotten into a place of fearful denialism, or the opposite, fearful reactionism, this is just a message to reevaluate where you're coming from. Is it serving you? Is it serving those around you? Is it making things worse? That's really what I wanted to bring to the table in this reading. And I want to thank you for your time and watching my video. I'm a brand new channel. I'm just getting started. And I'm grateful for anybody who is interested in sharing the energy. God bless and be well.